Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing Tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be the state of healthcare in the United States, especially now that we've seen what the Democrats have done. So, what I want to do is I want to do a base reading into like what now? And where does this go from now? And do we end up with health insurance, starting January 1st? And I'm not talking like, there's health insurance if you can afford it. I'm talking about health insurance, accessible and affordable health insurance for the American people. And the deck I'm using today, I'm going to just keep right on here with the Wiser Tarot. And as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Looking into like what now when it comes to healthcare in the United States. What does this look like for healthcare in the United States? Base reading. Where do we go from here when it comes to healthcare? In the United States. Okay, and as I said, for entertainment purposes only, some of these cards flipped out on the bottom, but these are shuffled. Okay, so real quick, I know sometimes that there's people from other countries that will be watching these videos. And so if you're one of those people in another country that has universal health care and you're like, what the hell is going on in the United States? We're asking the same thing that ourselves. There has been a push for universal health care. It makes more sense. It saves us money. We get health care. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And the fact that it's the evangelical maggots that are opposing it is infuriating. And I've had this conversation, and it usually ends with me saying something like, well, is that what Jesus would do? So, yeah, that's how well that goes. It doesn't make any sense. So if you're in another country watching this going, it doesn't make any sense. You're right, it doesn't. It makes no sense whatsoever. So I already had those shuffled. King of Swords, making decisions. This is also swords. It's going to be anything legal, anything medical. It's also decisions. It can also be military. Okay. I know that that's a really broad scope of things, but there's only 4 suits. So, each suit is going to cover like a big, broad, range of things. So medical, legal, military. And since I was asking specifically about medical, then we're going to go with the medical route for this. So King of Swords is going to be how do we lead, like, how are we going to give everybody health care? That's actually what is encompassed with this. How are we going to lead and have health care for all? And it's easy. It's called, we already have a universal health care for seniors. You just expand that for everybody else. Good God. I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit more to it than that, but that's essentially what it is. And how can we get this done? Boy, there's a lot of like wishy-washy stuff here with the high priestess. Well, we just have to go within. The challenge is, how can we do this? It's not that hard. Okay. Other countries have figured this out. Taking care of the people. That's probably excuse me, what this is going to be. This is, they don't want to have, like, how can we give people insurance without actually having to give them insurance? That's the game that we've been playing up until this point. And it's like, no, it's time to stop that. It's time to cut through that bullshit. Stop with this, well, we just don't know, and get into taking care of the people. Okay. And these colors are going to be more action cards. These are going to be more of those, the root chakras, the first, second, and third chakras. I always see kind of like that, the physical chakras. Like, how are we going to physically get people their health insurance and not be just playing at sort of giving people insurance? The Hierophant. This card for the month of December, this is the card that we move into in numerology. I always see the Hierophant. This is the spirit of our government, the spirit of those institutions. And so this is the foundation. And we are seeing a lot of stress on these institutions. We're also seeing like the spirit of the medical field should be taking care of people. And if you notice here, you've got like they're wanting to be like hold on to power. But look here in the background, that yellow that stands out and the yellow here. Like just look at like this is like someone who's taking the power all for themselves. And here it's like power for the people. That's just really what I'm feeling here. So, you know, these insurance companies are going to have been the ones that have been fighting universal health care because they know that their time is coming to an end. Yes, there will be people that can afford private insurance. Great. But we need to have universal health care for the people. It's a burden. I mean, this card, the 10 of Wands, is the burden card. Healthcare has become a burden. And this is the recent influences. This is what's being put under a spotlight right now, is just how horrendous the healthcare insurance costs are in this country. When you have Marjorie Taylor Greene out there making sense, it's become a burden. Healthcare has become a burden, and the cost of that. So, yeah. And just realize that you are not agreeing with Trader Greene. She's agreeing with you. She sees the writing on the wall. She knows. So take comfort into this. Marjorie Taylor Greene is making sense. Why is she making sense? Because she sees the writing on the wall and she knows that MAGA Republicans, they're done. I mean, it's coming apart at the seams, and they are not going to be long for being in office. And she's trying to save her seat, and she knows that she has to stop with the Jewish space laser bullshit. And did you hear her say something like, what was it? Oh, I was duped like everybody else with the QAnon. It's like, bitch, you are not that stupid. I mean, maybe she is, but you are not duped. You saw that as an opportunity to get votes. And now she's seeing that being sane is a way to get votes. So let's just be really clear. I mean, will we take it? Sure. I mean, she is one who, her base would not listen to a Democrat, but they'll listen to her. So, okay, we'll take it. You know, she's getting a message out to a group of people who otherwise may not be receptive to the truth from a different, breaker of truth there. So if she wants to be the messenger, the harbinger of truth, okay, we'll take it. I mean, it's with her own base, so if it helps them to wake up, sure. That's how I feel about that. And then our outcome here, yeah, the burden is too much. We have to bring the cost down. And so once we get through this, middle wishy-washy, crap here of, oh no, what is it that we can do? It's just too hard. We don't know. And it's like, here you get, no, we're going to get this shit done, and we're going to have healthcare for everyone. So I really, truly do believe that we are going to move towards universal healthcare. What are the Republicans going to do now that the ball is squarely in their court? Are they really going to take healthcare away from everyone? Now that the establishment Democrats in the Senate have given away all of their political power, what are the Republicans going to do with health care? And with that, they're going to find the money. It's like they're going to find the money. Where are we going to get the money? They're going to find it. How are we going to make it through these troubled waters? And then going back and forth, finding the money. This is like big feelings of finding the money for the ACA. And now, in the meantime, we may just have ACA until the universal health care. I'm feeling like this. What we are going through right now is definitely shining a light into what is wrong with the ACA, which we should have always had a single payer system, but that's neither here nor there. It's going to be here eventually. Okay. This is like, oh no, what are we going to do? And the Republicans are like, we got to find that money because we are going to So find the money. Find the money. Where are we going to find this money from? I wonder if that's going to be like, where's all this money? Like they're finding out that Trump like has absconded with everything. Find me the money, find a plan. Notice there's a theme with this round. It's all the pentacles. Fighting, arguing. However, this is going to be kind of like the minor. This is more minor fighting. I mean, it's fives are cards of these are not balanced cards. They're cards that strive for, it's like growing pains, basically, is what this is. Growing pains, what are we going to do? And like argue, debate. That would probably be a better word that I'm feeling for this card is the debate. A healthy debate on what we're going to do. Now, this is like, once again, in the past, we have not got to this yet. When we get to this, I think we're coming up on this really quick of, yeah, we're going to have a healthy debate. We're going to have to find the money. We're going to have a plan. And the outcome is because people are going to lose their insurance. Okay, so I'm going to put cards out on that. What's that final, where do we go from here? What is because this is like the potential is, people are going to lose their insurance. So what actually happens with this Five of Pentacles by January 1st? What's going to happen by January 1st? With our insurance. Betrayal, which we're in that right now. Looking out into the future. I had said that some of those cards got upside down, so that was one of them. I don't read reverse cards. I have a side note here, side quest. I have mixed feelings on reverse cards. When I first started reading, I did read reverse, and I think it does help in knowing like you can see like where maybe the energy's stuck. As I read more, I kind of take those cues more from the other cards around it. So like here we have, like people feeling left out in the cold. We feel betrayed. We feel as though, do we have anybody looking out for us? Ships coming in card, and then the agreements. They're going to come to agreement. And this right here, look at this. This reminds me of like that what is that thing called? The medical thing? I don't even know what it's, whatever that word is. It's got like the two snakes entwined and then the thing up there, the whatever. But yeah, in fact, yeah, that actually really looks like that. So yeah, so if I'm going to take like this Three of Wands came in upside down. Okay. So this is going to be my kind of like my anchor card of feeling left out in the cold. What are we going to do? This is the American people. We feel betrayed. We don't see how are they going to fix this? And so if this was reversed, ships not coming in, like what are we going to do? We don't see a lot of movement. It's stuck. So we want to definitely see movement there. And then they do come to an agreement. Okay. So, and what I'm feeling intuitively when it comes to health insurance, one, I am furious at the Democrats for what they've done. Okay. Let's just start there. And when it comes to health insurance, this stems all the way back to whenever they weakened the ACA and made it what it is to appease the Republicans, knowing that we were going to get to this point. Well, we're at this point now where it's not sustainable. And so now they have abdicated their responsibility. They've thrown it back to the Republicans. And the Republicans, did you see all these pentacles that came up? It's like, oh shit, we actually got to have a plan now. Yeah, no kidding. Like, just look at all these. The only one that came up that wasn't a pentacle was this. And this was the healthy debate. Like, the burden is too much. So now we have to, we have to put down some of the burden. And we actually have to have a healthy debate. Instead of just, like taking we're going to take all of our wands to our own corner. It's like, stop with that. It's too much. Start, put some of these down and start having healthy discussion. And you better do it quickly because TikTok January 1st is right around the corner. Okay. And then you get this, find the money because of, we can't afford the healthcare, these healthcare costs. So yeah, we are going to have health insurance. Good. I've always felt like we would have health insurance at the end of this. I don't know if this is universal. It's not universal health care. It is going to be a stopgap measure. And I would love to say that this would then continue into more discussions about how do we move from the ACA to universal health care. But I already know I already know how things are in the United States. We put a Band-Aid on something, it's good enough for now, and then we move on to the next thing that we're going to slap a Band-Aid on, and because the first Band-Aid we put on it is now kind of like coming apart, and that we'll slap a Band-Aid on over here on the healthcare until it starts falling apart again. And so yeah, that's a pretty safe bet to say. I will say though that we're getting ready to get into some like real major chaos here with this administration. I just don't. And so like, yeah, let's get this healthcare thing done. I do feel like we are going to have bigger conversations about healthcare. This is a temporary measure to get us through like the downfall of this administration until we get to that next thing. And universal health care, it's the only option that we're going to have here in the United States. I mean, that's the only viable option. And it's so frustrating trying to get everybody on board with that. It's like, we already have that for seniors. We just have to expand that and I know I make it sound like it's simple. I'm sure there's more to it than that. And I think what the more to it is to that is taxing the billionaires. Maybe they don't get to have their, baby yacht for their second giant yacht. Maybe they have to downsize. Maybe they just get like one yacht, that kind of thing. And trying to get people to understand that is just infuriating because they worked for that money. No, they didn't. They exploited employees to get to that point in their life. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. So yeah, hang in there with the insurance. As I said, I'm right there with everybody I'll be losing my insurance too. But I truly don't feel panicked. I feel angry in the moment. I don't feel panicked or anxiety about the future, if that makes sense. And I'm really hoping that that's my intuition of like actually reading the energy and not like my way of like, coping. I truly do feel like we are going to have health insurance. I don't think they're going to let that fail. I think they're seeing just what the American people, the pushback that they're going to get from the American people. So fingers crossed I'm right. And it's not about me being right. It's about all of us having health insurance. That's the most important thing. So thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a great day.